What's up, Heather?
What's up, B?
Not much. So we're going to try something a little different for us.
I'm down with that. What are we trying?
Well, tonight we're going to open up a new to us Heaven Hill product, Pikesville Rye. For rye, it's supposed to be one of the better ones.
To be honest, this is one of those B knew for sure that it was on the shelf, and Heather would not have made a bet either way.
You know, that happens a lot. But to be fair, this was a gift, and it was a gift from our friend Joe. And Joe also gifted us the Jack Daniels.
He did.
And speaking of Joe, if you're in the need for a home inspection and you live in the Wake County area, one of our surrounding counties, why don't you give Realm Inspection a call? They're 5-star rated, they're excellent, and Joe's going to personally oversee your inspection and make sure you're taken care of.
You know, B, you're so good at that.
I got to be good at something.
If you're a viewer out there, first, welcome. We're really excited that you're here. Second, if you want to sponsor us to do an advertisement,
Just give us a bottle
for
of
your
booze.
local business, even a tasting of something really good would probably earn you a free spot on an episode, right?
Half-eaten blanket. Just a half-eaten blanket's all we need.
A cookie?
Yeah, cookie.
Honestly,
Cookie would be good.
we like cookies.
Joe didn't even know he was sponsoring. She's like, hey, you want a bottle of booze?
Okay.
So, welcome to Tortured Bourbon. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We do 2 shows a week. One's kind of like this. One's a little longer towards the end of the week. If you're new to us, click that like and subscribe. Now, Heather's a millennial, so she really likes interacting with you on social media. So you can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. I don't think it's formerly known as anything. And then if you're really old, like me, you can find us on Facebook. And being that's not being monitored anymore, write whatever you want. Just make it up. It'll be fine.
Don't, however, come at us on TikTok, because that's about to be banned.
We're not on TikTok.
We're not gonna.
Not on the tiki-taki.
It's banned, not on the tiki-taki. But yeah, leave a comment on one of our episodes. Shoot us an email. We love interacting with you guys. Back to the Pikesville Rye and what I was saying. I am really bad about fully knowing our inventory, and I keep telling you that I'm going to do some kind of fancy cataloging of it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I'm not going to hold my breath. So, like a lot of ryes, Pikesville Hay is originally from Maryland and was first produced all the way back in the 1890s. If you're from the ACC, you'll get that. And like a lot of other distilleries, it was shut down by Prohibition. Who knew? Now, they did manage to come back after Prohibition ended. You know what it should have got? It should have got a medicinal license, and then it could have just kept producing. Mm-hmm. Now, they were eventually acquired by Heaven Hill, who's bought everything but me, and now it's produced in Kentucky.
It's for sale if you want.
No kidding. And now it's produced in Kentucky, of all places. Now, here's what they say. It's stored in extra-aged barrels in prime warehouse locations. I don't know what that means.
No one knows what that means.
So apparently this is kept in one place and mellow corn is kept in the other.
I'm not going to speak on where I think mellow corn is kept or where it should be kept.
I know where it should be kept.
But it is always funny when we see things like this on websites. Because it's like, what does that mean? Is it just some random employee was like, that's my favorite rick house because it overlooks the sunflowers?
It's even
so
on the
therefore
bottom.
It's prime? I mean, unless you're Jimmy Russell, if you tell me it's a prime location, I'm going with it. If you're some random Joe Schmo, get over yourself.
I would think there's somebody at Heaven Hill who rises to the estate of Jimmy Russell.
No one rises to the state of Jimmy Russell.
Oh, that's fair. That's a good point. No one. No one.
So
he's basically Elvis.
You know how Taylor Swift says karma is a god? Jimmy Russell is a god.
Taylor Swift can't hold Jimmy Russell's jock. I'm sorry. Come at me, millennials. Jimmy Russell's better than Taylor Swift. She's fine. She's fine. She's fine.
Back to Rise. She's fine. Back to Rise.
I'd like to meet her. I got questions.
So, Ryes are typically a little hit or miss for me.
Both of us, yes.
Yeah, correct. I have had love some. Oaklore always comes to mind when I think of ones that I love. Their rye is very unique.
And Elijah Craig rye is very approachable.
Yes.
Very approachable.
Just like all Elijah Craig offerings, I feel like, are very approachable. Other ryes, not so much. Heaven Hill Grain to Glass Rye, I'm looking at you.
We basically took $100 and lit it on fire right here.
I wish we had. It been more fun.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you're interested, you can check out our reviews of both of those on our channel. Sometimes ryes have a hint of a mint flavor that just is not my jam, and I don't think it's your jam either.
The Heaven Hill Grain to Glass we searched for 8 months. We found it in Wilmington. We threw $100 down. We brought it home. We opened it up. We started recording. And we looked at each other like, oh my God.
This was what we call a mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? It's all part of the game, right?
It's like listening to Styx. Not good.
Back to the mint.
But if you think about it, rye bread sometimes can have a hint of minty flavor. It fits in there.
It's true.
Now, the mash bill on this one comes in at 51% rye, 39% corn, and 10% barley. So high rye, as it should be, but not the highest we've ever had. Now, what I'm excited about, it's 110 proof. It's aged for 6 years in new American white oak barrels, and it cost about $60 a bottle MSRP.
So, by way of their website, we are supposed to get an aroma of dusty cocoa notes. Pro tip, don't use the word dusty in any of your descriptions. It's just not appetizing. Just go with the cocoa notes. Anyway, it's supposed to have an oaky smoke underneath. The taste is dry and spicy. You gotta love those tannins. What?
Well, every time you see Dusty, there was a wrestler called The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And I just think of The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes popping right up.
You also brought that up in when we tasted the old Dusty Wild Turkey.
Yeah. Dusty Rhodes, American Dream.
So, see what I'm saying? It provokes a lot of visuals that I don't think you're going for. So
I don't want to lick Dusty Rhodes.
So, let's maybe just go with cocoa nuts with an oaky smoke underneath. The taste is dry and spicy. You gotta love those tannins. And it's got a honeyed rye and a little bit of clove in it.
Now, this finish is supposed to bring soft vanilla and baking spices. Now, there's been no mention of mint, which is great because I'm not here to chew gum. And I'm hoping...
Or brush my teeth.
Yeah. And if you've ever brushed your teeth...
And drink anything.
Orange juice. Oh,
or coffee.
Oh my, it's horrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible. So don't put minty flavor in the bourbon. So, are you ready to give this a taste? Let's give it a swirl.
Now, it's a little darker in color.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell it's 6 years.
Yep.
Off the bat, I don't smell mint. I'm feeling good about this. I actually get a little caramel, which I don't always get with ryes.
Darker caramel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A darker creme brulee.
You do always like to bring it back to the creme brulee.
All right, so little smoke I get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely get a little smoke. Not getting the dusty.
Cocoa, yes.
Yeah, and that's
chocolate.
That's a new smell to us. It took us a while to develop that.
It's a new smell in bourbon or whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, we have smelled cocoa before. It's a new.
We're looking at you, Hershey's.
It's a new identification for us. But yeah,
if you're new to our show, this is a journey. We don't claim to be experts. We're about the journey. So it's a journey.
And you're meeting us partway.
Partway on the journey.
I won't claim how far we are.
All right,
I do get some cocoa for sure.
The smell is inviting.
Absolutely spicy.
The second half.
Yeah.
I don't mean that cough badly. I took some water.
No, it's the spice. Yeah.
Because the up front was not.
It hits
Because
you.
when you say, I'm like, this is good.
And then it hits you. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it's not.
It does dry at the end.
Yeah.
But at the beginning and towards the middle, I see where they're getting the honey. There is a slight honeyed flavor. Now, it's honeyed rye. It's not like honey. But it's softening of the rye a little bit, and then it hits you at the back end for sure. And if you think about it, they use the descriptor of cloves, which cloves is not it's a little bit of a harsh spice. It's not mild. No. You gotta bake it on a ham with some maple and pineapple glaze to kind of chill it out. Maybe that's just a southern thing. I don't know.
Rye for me is a harsh grain.
Yeah,
harsh is not the right word.
No, but I see what you're saying. It's a spicier grain.
It's a strong grain.
It's strong. It's not. You would never use the word mellow to describe rye.
No, I'm probably not using the right word with harsh, but it.
Well, if you think about it, rye bread, like that's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. That's not an insult to rye. It's more that we all
care about rye's feelings.
We're here to care. Okay.
This is therapy.
We don't want to offend rye. Okay. Rye might want to come hang out.
If you want to learn why this show is about therapy, check out our resolutions episode.
Yeah, it's a good one. Overall, as a rye, this falls into my like it column.
The front and the back are so different.
So different. I get
this
a
has
more...
a pronounced difference. Mm-hmm. In the front, I think I'm about to get something very sweet.
Mm-hmm. And then that back end is not.
So it's fair to say it's complex.
It's complex.
You like the word complex in our reviews. No, I don't know, but really.
No, but it is.
It's talking about
It is,
complex.
yeah.
And the fact
I'm gonna
that
stand by that.
you have two distinct tastes and then tannins.
That's complex.
So we could argue there's 3 levels to this.
It
pretty
dries
quick.
you.
You get this sweet. You almost think you're about to get.
Yes.
I'm expecting caramel. I'm expecting honey, for lack of a better term.
That's not where it goes.
And then it turns, and then it's rye, it's spice, and then boom, it drives out.
In researching this episode, I read a review that used the descriptor as savory overall, and I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a savory
Yeah.
bourbon. This would be delicious with like a steak.
This would hold its own. This would hold its own in a whiskey forward drink.
I'm glad you said that, because for me, this one combines kind of the unique things that people like about rye, but it's approachable for bourbon whiskey drinkers.
Yeah, it's very different than bourbon.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, and I was thinking that as you were saying it.
But you see what I'm saying?
No,
it's approachable.
No, it is approachable.
It's approachable. I really like this.
I do.
The more and more I tasted it.
I do. If you like to have a variety
right.
of bourbons and ryes in your house.
And you want to try new things.
This needs to be there.
I agree with that.
I'll go with that. So in that regard, for me, it's probably a hush your mouth.
I completely see what you're saying. It is obviously high quality.
If you're a rye drinker.
If you're a rye drinker, it's absolutely hush your mouth.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a rye drinker, it's approachable. You can taste. The rye doesn't overwhelm it. Some ryes, I feel like, if you don't like rye, you're done, because the rye just overwhelms all the other flavors. Whereas with this one, we can identify some other flavor components that are there that aren't necessarily completely driven by the rye.
Their statement of dry is perfect.
It's on point. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's perfect. Now, in a bourbon, to get that dryness, it's got to be older than 6 years.
It's gotta age
in
a long
our
time.
experience.
Thus far, with very few exceptions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So I think this is looking for a particular.
Right. If you're a rye
person.
drinker,
go
grab it.
And you like it dry.
And even if you aren't a rye drinker, if you just are ready to expand your palate, try some other things. And if you want to try a rye, that's a great starter rye.
And it's going to hold up.
Oh, yeah.
What I think about this is that this is really going to hold up in an old fashioned. This is really going to hold up in a smash. It's going to have enough complexity, and there's enough proof there. Now you've got to want to mix a $60 bottle, obviously. So I would use it. In your whiskey forward.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about your.
Use it judiciously.
Yeah.
You're at a nice bar. This is going to be, I think, one of the types of ryes that they're going to have to do a really cool cocktail with it.
I think its price point is on par. You keep referring back to this being for mixing. Maybe that's something we need to think about doing in the future.
Finding a rye forward cocktail.
That would be fantastic.
We should totally do that. We haven't mixed anything in a while. I mean, I was watching a video the other day on a new methodology for mixing Manhattans, but
no.
I guess I could pivot.
No.
So you want me to pivot?
I'm not drinking Manhattans ever again on this show. No
what
matter
if
what.
we get 1,000 subscribers?
1,001. 1,001, I'll consider it.
Y'all heard it. Help me get to 1,001. Until then,
cheers y'all. She'd be a little bit older than you, a little younger than me.
I'm close to middle age.
There you are.
Not as close as you, but
I'm in my prime.
that all on the floor.
It's only been like
Give
a
me
minute and a
some
half.
more. Sorry, that was Akon.